My name is Nick Davis, and I'm a classical guitar performance major here at Arkansas State University. The first album I bought, I want to say, was a CD, and it was The Simpsons Sing the Blues. I had to be like, I don't know, 9 or 10. I wasn't very old. Well, of course. I mean, with technology, everything changes. Like when I was a kid, I would use cash. Now I use a debit card most of the time. And there are instances where I even use a prepaid iTunes card, downloading stuff from iTunes, things that you can't really find uh, in a shop around here or don't want to order on Amazon. I don't really have a preference, but I do have this compulsive behavior, I think. Like, I love vinyl. I grew up listening to my mom's record collection, and then I kind of took it from her. And so now, whenever I see vinyl, I am compelled to look through as much of it as I can before before I have to go do my next thing, before I'm required to be at a different engagement or whatever. My least favorite way to buy music is through iTunes when it doesn't want to cooperate. But more or less, that's just user error. Like I'll forget a password or something and then have to go through and redo it all and then have this insanely huge password that I can never enter correctly. So, technology can be frustrating. I'd rather just go to the store and buy it. Absolutely. Absolutely. I feel like my studies with classical guitar and even being in band playing saxophone in high school has broadened my horizons and actually opened up new areas of music for me to listen to. There are people who would argue and say that a digital reproduction on a CD sounds better than vinyl, but that's just a laser reading a digital code. With the vinyl, when you turn the volume all the way off, you can still hear the contact that the needle's making with the groove, and you can still hear the music coming off the needle. So I think it's a more organic, a more warm sound. Man, when I was a kid, I had no idea that we'd be able to get on the internet and download music for free, or now we have to purchase it all. I had no idea that that was even going to be a thing. I could never have guessed that. But, I feel like people are still going to get into vinyl and people will still buy CDs because, you can download and buy all the stuff you want through iTunes or Google Play or whatever. But there's just something about actually holding the CD sleeve in your hand and thumbing through the album art, or the same with a record. Just seeing all that, having the material package in your hand, as opposed to just some digital information that you have in your phone or your tablet or whatever. I'm super pumped. I love it. It makes me so happy to see that people are getting into vinyl and people, I it's I'm not a hipster at all, and it just really tickles me pink to know that kids that are 12, 13 years old, the same age I was when I really started digging deep into music, are getting into vinyl and they're finding bands that they like that are popular now that have their own 33s. And then you also get them and they're looking through all this older stuff and discovering, old bands that they might have heard their parents listen to on vinyl. Oh, I hope it lasts. I don't think it's a dead technology yet, but especially because you can get record players now that have a line in for your media device. They have a cassette deck and they have a CD player, AM/FM stereo. I mean, I'm pretty pleased with mine. Oh, the cassette tape. Yeah, I have no preference. I have nothing against the cassette. I've bought my share of cassettes. I've listened to my share of cassettes. I've made my share of mixtapes, and that's the thing. Like, but the only problem with a cassette, and really the only problem with vinyl, is where you're going to listen to it outside of your house. Because most cars now, due to technology, they don't have a tape deck. You have to get one from like before '99 or whatever, because my truck's a '99 and it's got an AM FM CD player. So I mean, if they're going to sell digital download with it, then that's cool. Because how else are you going to get it into a more um, user friendly form of media? I would say both 8 tracks and cassettes, because my record player has a cassette input on the side, but where I have it sitting right now, because it's proximity to the plug-in, and then I have all my records and some other stuff stacked up next to it. It's kind of hard for me to access the cassette input. But as I recall, I think there may be a tape in there that I should probably take out before the magnets erase it, which was a common problem with cassettes. The magnets in the tape player would actually, over time, deteriorate the tape. But also, 8 track. Like, I haven't listened to an 8 track in a long time. I would say more or less 15, 20 years. I'm 32, so, uh, it's been a long time since I've listened to an 8 track. But I remember talking about cassettes and 8 tracks. One of my aunts actually had a cassette adapter that you put a cassette into, and then it fit into an 8 track player. So that was pretty interesting. Technology, man, it's great when it works, but when it doesn't, it can be really frustrating.